Hi everyone. I did a video this morning and I landed up with just a picture of my hands. As you do. I don't quite know what I hit or what I did, but all I had was a picture of my hands, and I thought, well, that's not really going to be good. I mean, I could put a picture up and ask you what I was saying. I mean, that might be an idea. Anyway, I'm back to doing my Peace of God journal today. Can you please go and support our Esther? She's working so hard on hers, and she's got a wonderful kit coming out in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be doing the beauty of God. So it's going to be all about God's creation, which I can't wait to do. The behind theme of the pages is sunflowers, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lovely, lovely collaboration. Most of the girls who've done this will be doing that as well. So today I wanted to show you how to do these pockets. This is what I wanted to do today. I just love these pockets. They were quick and easy to do, and it just, you know how you just have a piece of paper and you fold it up because you're going to cut it or something, and then I just landed up with this, and it worked out really, really well. This is the shape, and you've got these lovely little pockets here and a pocket here. You could seal this down and put them so you can put your pockets in that side. These beautiful cards are from Lydia, Raindrop Lila. I've got the link down below, and you also get some with actual words on it, like Corinthians 1 on it and things like that, and I will show you a couple of those shortly in the other ones that I've done. So what we're doing today is we're talking about living in peace. How living in peace can be compared with the petals of a flower unfolding in the morning sunlight. So you think about it, the flower slowly comes open, or you've got your leaves on some pot plants, you'll find that they automatically turn towards and get the sun on them. And, you know, if you've got a pot plant in the window, you need to keep moving it around, otherwise it all grows to the window and you've got this plant that's hanging over to the window and it looks a bit weird because it's really bent. So it's about nourishment, isn't it? It's about nourishment. If you know anything about photosynthesis, the plants need that sunlight to photosynthesize and to get the energy into them. So the cellulose goes into them, they can then grow and they can get strong leaves and a strong branch to hold them. Like us, we need the sun, we need that vitamin D. In this day and age, more and more of us are staying indoors. Kids are staying indoors. They're not doing like they used to do. We used to go out all the time. We used to love going out walking. We'd walk up to Claremont and we'd go up to the woods, and, you know, we'd go down to the park, or recce as we used to call it. And you'll all remember those days when we actually went out and played with our mates. It wasn't sat in front of an Xbox or PlayStation. Yes, it's lovely in lockdown having that ability to connect with people because you had social media. So you didn't feel on your own. If you lived on your own, obviously some people had, you know, several people living in their house that they were connecting with. It just depended on the way you were. But even if you had a house full, you still needed outside interaction. So it really is, we do thrive on interaction with others. We're social people. That's how we're born, to interact with others. So we need to interact with God, don't we? We need to interact with God. The more we interact with God, the more content we become. The more the plants get the food, they get the sunlight, they are happy, they grow stronger. And that's what we want to do. We want to grow stronger in our faith. You don't have to be a Christian to want the love of God, to have faith. You may be a Methodist, you could be a Baptist, you can be a born again, you could be a Buddhist. Everybody has their own path of faith. You choose that path, and whatever path you're on, the more you read the words that are part of your religion, the more you rely on God, the stronger you feel, and you get this inner contentment. And that's what all this is about. When you see a beautiful flower, it reminds you of peace, it reminds you of contentment, and that's what we want in our lives, don't we? You don't need to worry so much about things. It's also part of growing up. The older you get, the more we know that there's no point in stressing about things, because say you've got a bill to pay, but you're not going to have money till next week. Nothing's going to change that. But if you give thanks to God and then ask God for help because you really needed to pay it this week, not next week, these things happen where something turns up that you completely didn't expect to happen. It's happened to me. I've been in a situation where I've had no electricity because I'm still on a carb meter. And I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to get that few pence to stretch all day? Because when you're on a carb meter, if you get it through till about 7 o'clock at night, it won't go off until the morning. And something has just happened. Money has come from nowhere that I would not have expected it to happen. It's having faith in God. So let's try and get closer to God. Our Paula, she wants to do the Psalms. And I think everybody loves the Psalms. I think everybody draws closer to the Old Testament and gets to know God more in the Psalms. Obviously, the majority of the Psalms are about Solomon. And he was such an amazing person. There is actually a part in the Quran where it talks about an ant. And this ant, bless her, she's warned the other ants to hide, to get out of the way, because Solomon is coming along with his soldiers. And if you stay out, you're going to get trampled. Well, of course, Solomon could talk to the animals. And he heard her, and he went over to her and thanked her for doing that. You know, it was a wonderful thing to think about. This little tiny little ant knew who Solomon was and has so much respect for this prophet from God. And she wanted to protect her own, and they got protected. And it was a wonderful thing to happen. These little things, little nuances that you find when you do more reading. The first time you read the Bible from cover to cover, a lot of it is just words, particularly the beginning when you've got so-and-so beget so-and-so, who beget so-and-so, who beget so-and-so. You're thinking, okay, when is this going to end? Did that many, many moons ago. So let's get on with this. So basically, we're going to make one of these. This is one I made earlier today. I've got another one I'll show you in a minute as well. And this will cover some of the verses that we're doing today. And this is what we call a hadith. A hadith is what has been written down by one of the companions that accompanied the Prophet Muhammad. Okay. The hadith are always verified. So say somebody said, well, the Prophet went to to a friend's house, there was a wedding going on, and he was playing with the children. And he absolutely loved children. He loved his grandkids. He loved his own kids. You know, he was a very family-orientated man. Now, one person would write that down. Somebody else would verify that and say, yes, that's exactly what happened, and they will verify it. Then somebody will, as long as you've got 2 or 3 people agreeing on what actually happened, then it becomes an authentic hadith. Okay? There are some that have only got 1 or 2 people who have agreed to this, to whatever's been written down. And it will tell you if you read the hadith, it will tell you that this is what we're told that's happened. This person agreed it, but there's not anybody else who's agreed it. Okay? So that isn't an authenticated one. Okay, that's what we've got. But let me read this to you. Allah, or God, the word Allah means God in Arabic, does not require of any soul more than what it can afford. All good will be for its own benefit, and all evil will be for its own loss. The believers pray, our Lord, which is Ya Rab in Arabic, do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. How many of us pray, oh God, please forgive us of our shortcomings? That is the thing that is the hardest thing, is it? Those shortcomings. Stupid little mistakes that we make. That is a really important thing to ask God to help you with. Do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. Our Lord, do not place a burden on us like the ones you placed on those before us. Our Lord, do not burden us with what we cannot bear. Pardon us, forgive us, and have mercy on us. You are our only guardian, so grant us victory over the disbelieving people. Now, the disbelieving people in these days, that was the Quraysh. And the Quraysh is made up of several tribes, and the Prophet was born into one of these tribes. He was actually an orphan, and he was brought up by his uncle. So it's so important to think, stupid little mistakes, if you ask God to forgive you, he will. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about major sins. We're not talking about the 10 Commandments. We're not talking about doing major things. We're talking about little things. And God will help you if you ask. So, do you like my camel? I actually went on Creative Fabrica and found some of these gorgeous little camels. I adore camels. So I thought that's an envelope, by the way. This tag you've already seen. Now, these are the tags I was making today. These templates are Emma Parish's, and I've stacked these. I actually printed these 2 to a page. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. And that's Psalms 91:1. And I've printed a tiny, tiny little one, and I've attacked them with wee grommets. And this wonderful, it's thicker than the normal baker's twine because it came on a label from something I've bought at some stage. When I have these little bit of threads, I don't actually take them off the label. I tend to stick the whole lot in the drawer so I can find them if I need them. And it just looks lovely, doesn't it? They're so easy to put together. This is one of the ones that Lydia has made that have actually got verses on. This is the Song of Solomon. 3:4. I found the one my soul loves. How beautiful is that? And that can be like taken in 2 ways. One, how much love you have for your God, for your Lord, and also if you've managed to find a partner that you've been for many, many years, and you've actually found the right person. It's awful when you see the young ones these days, when they land up in a situation where they're having kids out of marriage, because they don't really look at marriage so much these days. They prefer just to live with somebody, don't they? And, you know, they break up after a year or so. When you, if you were brought up or born in the 50s, 60s, that sort of era, there was a great family that you would have around you, and you were taught about acceptance. You know, you accepted people's shortcomings. You accepted their silly habits, and you learnt to work through the problems. Nowadays, a problem comes up and they just have a great big screaming match, and that's the end of it. If they had God in their marriage, then they will learn to trust one another more, wouldn't they? But unfortunately, it's a sign of the times, I'm afraid. And then we've got another one over here. And all these little birdies I've printed on sticker paper. And they're all from Tracy. They're our fussy cut birds. God is our refuge and strength and an ever-present help in trouble. And we know that. If you can turn to God, he'll be there. Now, I've been looking at the birds and how God provides for the birds. What he's saying here in Psalms is, I know every bird in the mountains and the insects in the fields are mine. Now, if God knows all the birds and all the insects, of course he knows who you are. Of course he knows you. I have loved you with an everlasting love. And that's Jeremiah. That is really what you want to say in your life, is that you've loved God and God has always stood by you and God is with you. Now the last one I've got is back here. Just find the page. Here it comes. Ooh, up and at 'em. So I'm just going to shove it that way. This is the other one I've made, and it's exactly the same sort of design. I made one, and then the other one I made on video, which obviously I hadn't pressed. This one is saying that whoever puts trust in God, then he alone is sufficient for them. That is where you want to be, is to have that faith. And that's what all this Bible study is about. A lot of these have got writing on the back, where I've written other psalms down and things like this. Omar, he was one of the companions of the Prophet. He was actually, his father was very, very rich. He was one of the Quraysh, and he had a lot of camels, and he used to look after the camels. When he got a lot older, his brother was being like moulded in to take over from Dad. But his brother realised that Omar had more of a brain that would work with the elders of the Quraysh, who used to have all these meetings, and he actually was able to then go and join these elders, because his brother sort of basically disappeared, so he wasn't available when he should have been. And he said, if you all depend on God with true reliance, he would certainly give you provision, as he gives it to the birds who go forth hungry in the morning and return with a full belly at night. Now think about it. If God can feed all the birds and make sure they have their food and that they return home at night with a full belly, he's certainly going to provide for you, isn't he? Now, I just want to quickly show you these before I show you that make. These, again, are from Lydia, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And each page has all these wonderful, wonderful sayings on them. I think there's 6, if I remember correctly. I've put these on card and I've backed them on the back. And I just absolutely love these. I think they're absolutely wonderful. And I just really, it's here, John 4:14. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. And when you think about that, it's not just water that gives us life. It's knowledge, it's information, it's drawing on God and the things that he gives us. And I love that, and that's having faith. But these are absolutely beautiful. These are also linked below. But there are 6 pages of them, and they're absolutely stunning. I've left them as a page because I will be writing on the back. And you can obviously cut them up into journal cards if you want to. You could just cut the verses out if you wanted to do something else with them. That is really down to you how you would like to use them. But you also get this lovely backing sheet as well with them. So let me just close that. She's getting big and fat now. Yeah, she's certainly a size. So let me just move that out of the way and let me show you how we put these together. Now, these are 7 inches by 7¼ inches. Okay, I will put the measurements down below. Yes, I wrote it inside in case I forgot. They are so quick to make. Now, I've done it deliberately with a white back because it's easier to show you. So what you do is you literally fold it in half this way, then fold it in half that way. Okay, it makes it easier to fold. This here is a 7 inches. So the shorter one is at the top, the longer one are the sides. Okay, so you literally fold it up and then you fold these in. And what I do is when I'm folding mine in, I hold this up so I know roughly where I'm coming to. So I can get it in the point there and make sure that it doesn't go over this. If it does go over there and you've got a little bit of an overlap, when you pull this up, you'll get a little line. So you can then just trim that off so you know that it fits perfectly. I then glue inside here, okay, so that stays down, and then I glue on here, and that goes up like that. And it's a lovely way to store all your different cards. Now, you've got the choice of having a pocket here and a pocket here. Okay. Oops, it's not going to go in that one. Like this. So you can have your pockets like that. Or you can have a pocket at the top here. It really is down to you where you want to have the pockets. I've left them at the top because I've glued mine right at the bottom of the page, so I can stick big things in the top, and that's why I've got envelopes in mine. It is really up to you, and it makes such a lovely looking place to stick your cards. I think that looks so lovely inside a card, inside your journal. Put my teeth back in again. You can see it's getting towards night time, aren't you? It's 10 to 9 at night here. So that is the make for today. As I say, I did do a lovely video, but unfortunately, all I got was a picture of my hands, and, you know, I don't think you really needed that today. So that is actually the Bible study done, but I am carrying on, and Esther is carrying on, and then in a couple of weeks, we will be releasing the new one, which is going to be The Beauty of God, which, you know, when I've been doing this all the time, I've been using birds and butterflies, because to me, God's creation is unbelievable. You've only got to walk down the street and you can see God's creation. Even if you live in a city, it's there for you to see. Growing up, I can remember hearing the song I Believe. And it talks about hearing a newborn baby cry. Just that in itself, if you listen to those words and then you think of how we actually get a baby from just a sperm drop, it is just unbelievable. The Quran actually has this written in it. It talks about being made from a clot, because obviously once the egg is fertilized, it becomes like a clot. It looks like a blood clot. And then as mitosis happens, you sort of get this weird thing that isn't even, I mean, it looks like a prawn, the shape of it, isn't it? You know, this weird thing. Which obviously, when the Quran was written, nobody could see these things happening. They didn't see what was going on inside a woman because they didn't have the equipment we have today. And you actually start thinking about how that come about. How could man think how to make us? You look at all the different birds you may have around your garden, around your house, or if you go out. Nobody can imagine the magnitude of the birds. Nobody could. And then you look at all the colours of the different flowers that he created. We could not imagine all those colours. And they come from the three basic colours, don't they? The three basic colours and black and white. It is unbelievable. So that's the next thing that we were doing. So thank you so much for being with us. I've absolutely loved doing this. I've had a few fibro days where I've not been around much because I've, you know, not had much sleep at night and I've had to sleep in the day. So I do really need to get some videos done this week. I'm a bit lacking. For us, this is Dhul Hijjah. It's the very first day of the 10 days towards Hajj. Hajj is actually when the pilgrims all go to Mecca and they go to Mount Arafat, which you will all know about Mount Arafat. And it is an amazing thing that the Muslims do. I have so much respect for those who go there. They spend a day on the plains of Arafah. They are making what we call dua, which is prayers, and asking for things for people. A lot of people will have prayers that people have asked them to do for them. So say you've got somebody who's sick, they will ask you to pray for them there because it's such an important day, it's such a beautiful place to be. And when they, you know, the sun goes down, they actually go to a place where they sleep out in the open. They literally just have the clothes on their back and they sleep out in the open. And at the end of Hajj, basically they have been washed clean. So it's like they're a new baby. They have been washed clean of all their sins. They are clean. They are going to start their life again. Some people have done Hajj several times. Some people it'll be the first time. And there is a wonderful story I want to share with you. A taxi driver picked up an old couple. And he stopped, and he knew they'd literally just had enough money to come and do Hajj. They didn't have a lot of money. So he'd said to them, look, I'm going back that way. I will take you. I'm not going to charge you for the taxi ride. And he stopped off because he knew it was a bit of a journey. And he went and got some food. And he brought the food out. And whatever it was, there was meat in it. And this couple said, we can't eat that. And he says, why not? It's halal. Here, everything's halal. And they said, no, we haven't eaten meat for 20 years so that we could save up to go on Hajj. And they were afraid that if they ate meat now, before they'd actually done Hajj, that something might happen to stop them doing it. And I thought, oh my goodness, 20 years without meat. But then when you think of the amount of people in countries who have not had meat, there are children out there who've never tasted meat. When you have finished your Hajj on the 10th day, what happens is that you do a sacrifice. And whichever animal you buy for your sacrifice, it could be a lamb, it could be a goat, it could be a cow, that meat is used to feed the poor. Okay. And many people who are Muslims will do what we call qurbani. It is meant to be those who have to pay zakah, which is 2.5% of what you call savings, above what you would normally use, and you've had that for a year. But a lot of people also do it because it's feeding the poor. And this qurbani will go out, and as I say, there are children who've never tasted meat. And so on Eid, which is the day after the Hajj day, that meat will be distributed. Some places they cook the meat and they make meals for people. They make thousands of meals and hand them out. And some people, they actually get the meat to cook their own meals. And it's such an important day for us. And it's so important to us. It really, really is. So today is the first day. And our days start at night after the sun goes down. So in about 3/4 of an hour, it will start day 2 because I'm looking at a clock on my PC. So do think of others. If you give to somebody, think of how you feel after you've given something to somebody. You feel happy, you feel uplifted, you feel joyful, you feel closer to God, don't you? So for us, it's an amazing thing. Even if you smile at somebody, think how much that may make their day. That person may not have spoken to somebody in a week. They may be living on their own, and they may only go out once a week. That can change their life. Anyway, on that thought, everybody, thank you for joining us on this wonderful journey. And hopefully you join us on the next one. Love and blessings, everybody, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.